Well, I think part of the database is it makes a lot of times I think in education, I think all schools have this problem where they throw a blanket thing at it and say, well, this is what we're trying. And it doesn't work, especially for kids that have different disabilities, because there's many, many, many different variables going on with those kids. Just like you might have a classroom of 15 kids, and there might be 15 different things going on in those kids' lives that we have to change. And so the DBI process forces you to look at all those individual things and try to find a way to reach that kid to get growth. And you have to have some hard conversations. So, like, whenever you're doing progress monitoring and you're not seeing that line going up towards the goal, where that regression line's going down, now we know it ain't working. Like, we got to try something else. So then we would try something else. And there were some conversations there where they might say, but it's working for these kids. Well, that's fine. Not working for that kid, which means we got to do something different with it. And it made it a much more focused work with it, because the kids are way behind. Like, we've got to be straight honest. The kids are extremely far behind. And so you've got to just keep believing and pushing forward. And that DBI celebrates even the smallest growth. So like I might have a kid that's 4 or 5 grade levels below, and on a state testing, I'm not going to see any results that are going to really show me much on state testing. But by doing the DBI process, we can see, well, this kid went from 5 grade levels below to 4 grade levels below in a matter of 3 months. Like, we're working, like, this kid is growing now. And so I think that's probably the biggest difference. It also created a stronger camaraderie amongst our group, because we had a lot of open, honest conversation. And that's about I guess, as upfront as you can be whenever everyone's looking at your data, looking at what you're doing. And I mean by everyone, like, we have 4 resource teachers, 3 self-contained teachers, and 2 administrators that were in that, with me being one of them. And so you're in there really talking about, what does that look like? What are we going to do on that part? So, like, our IEPs started to get better, because we started to have a lot more conversations about, hey, this kid's doing well. Maybe they don't need resource now. Maybe we should be looking at them in a co-tot. Or maybe we have a kid that's in co-tot not doing well. Now they need to come down to resource. And which is the way it should work. Like, you should be constantly adjusting and monitoring and trying to push those kids to least restrictive setting. And so by doing the DBI process and meeting regularly, it really helped that avenue to work as well. And so I would say it made the team very close. Like, we only had one person retire. Everyone else stayed, which that's not the norm in middle school special ed at all. But I think what's great is, like, before DBI, it was very rare for me to have all the special ed teachers in a room and me. And so I think it helped, like, not that it's about me, but I know they like having that connection with the principal. And it's about that position that they know now they can have a voice and talk about things. But they also knew I was listening to them, trying to help them in the problem solving. If we were all in this together, and we didn't no one in there acted like they had all the solutions. There were times where I think everyone in our group came up with different solutions at different times for different problems. So there's a report they give us where they do color coding of percentage of students that are hitting their stretch growth. And our self-contained and resource classes were turning green on a large percentage of them. And that's where you really start to get that encouragement, because you're like, wow, look at that growth. Look what's going on. Last year, I did not have one parent go, resource is a waste of time. I want my kid out. And that's not normal. Like, a lot of times parents are going to be like, hey, I don't want them in here. Why is that? They were seeing the value of it. Our self-contained parents, we have very, very few complaints on that part, because, again, they were seeing the value of it. They were seeing the kids grow. They knew we were pushing those kids to do different things. So it's not, I don't know if parents, because we didn't necessarily go out and say, parents, hey, we're doing DBI. This is what we're doing. But we did celebrate whenever they would hit their growth target. Like, they knew. their kids growing and they're getting that growth target. And even though they're still not, at grade level, they are so much closer than what they were before. And so the whole goal is we work even more next year and we just keep on getting that growth with them. Because in the end, our goal is we don't have anyone in self-contained. And we got every kid out and they're able to get a diploma in the end. But again, you have to have that ingrained belief that every kid can do it. And that's the part that I think we've set a pretty high standard on that part. Like teachers know that they come to White Knoll Middle School, we're going to be trying our best to educate everyone. And if you think you're going to pick and choose who you educate, this is not the right school. Like we educate everyone. So I think that carries a lot of it.